Are you constantly asking for fitness advice, but never following through? Well, in this episode, we're going to talk about, why we ask for advice, we don't take action, and what is really truly holding you back from taking action, because I was in that boat for many, many years. But before we get into all this, I do want to tell you, make sure you head over to talktoperry.com. That's where my calendar is. It's wide open for podcast listeners, podcast viewers, and I want to help you really elevate that energy of yours, your mental and your physical battery, so that you can reclaim your power. We do that in 15 minutes. Talktoperry.com. And welcome to another Power Blast podcast, where we provide nourishment for the soul, allowing you to transform from the inside out, providing rapid results in mindset and fitness so that you can recharge that mental and physical battery of yours, like I was saying, and reclaim your power. All right. So, I was listening to a training, a seminar the other day, and the guy used the word ask whole. He kind of strung it together, which kind of was like, it caught my attention a little bit here. I was like, did he say what I thought he said? But he was talking about asking. And you and I both know, we know that person, and maybe we are that person and we just don't admit it, who asks endless questions about getting fit, about, never actually doing anything about it, just constantly looking for answers, seeking advice, that cycle of validation without actually taking steps forward. I can remember when I was picking the brain of different friends of mine who were hitting the gym. Their results were very visible. I mean, they had great shoulders, great arms. They had that nice little V cut, which I wanted. And so I'd pick their brains, and it was kind of like, just wanting to kind of get that insider look, but I was looking for a way for them to give me the easy button, to have a magical formula that would be like, oh, that cracks the code for me. Otherwise, what I found myself doing was, I'd take that information in and I'd find a crack or a flaw of why it wouldn't work for me, dismiss it, and go on and ask for advice from other people. And this doesn't even have to be asking for advice from other people. This could be constantly researching different things. When basically, I mean, it's not rocket science to get in shape, eating right, exercising. There are a few more things to it. I'm kind of simplifying it. But asking advice is great, but it only works if you act on it. And if you're asking advice knowing very well you're going to put up the defense shields and resistance barriers, then what are you even asking for? Especially if you're just going to do your own thing anyway, instead of following proven recommendations, you're wasting time. I don't know what the deal is, but as I started to dissect it for myself, and this may be you, maybe it's for somebody that and you can share this episode with them, but you might be just avoiding action because you're afraid of failing, or because you're finding it too hard to change habits. And that usually means because we're searching we're looking at things outside of us, and we're looking for validation that way. And we're looking for reasons why it won't work outside of us, as opposed to turning things in and taking responsibility and saying, this is on me. If it's going to happen, I need to be the one taking the action, not, nobody's going to do it for you, right? But sticking to that same old routine that you have, or maybe you don't even have a routine yet, it's not going to get you any new results. So here was some things that, dial back. Why are you asking for advice in the first place? Or why are you researching different fitness plans in the first place? I mean, do you really want that change? Or are you just looking for some sort of validation of, a friend of mine once said, and this is when she came to me and she wanted me to be her coach. She wanted me to give her a plan, and she got radically honest with me, and she said, "To be honest, Perry, I just want to prove to myself that this is one more thing that won't work." It was the validation of, I've tried so many different things. I haven't tried this. I know it won't work, but I need to prove that. And it was like, wow, that was amazing to me that somebody would be out to prove things that wouldn't work. And I start to think of that, that game Wordle, where you start using letters, which ones don't work, and that's information, right? Well, when she and I started working together, she ended up losing 50 pounds, repairing some relationships, getting off some medication. So it did work for her. But that's where she started. But she got honest with herself. She took responsibility and she took action. And she didn't take action right away, but eventually she did. So, you start asking yourself, why am I asking these questions? What is it that I need for these questions? And you might not even know. You might just, out of habit, you've just, out of curiosity, is that the thing? Maybe I should check this. And that's one thing I find with people. People will ask me, Perry, how did you get in shape? I share with them. Then they're out there on the web trying to find out, will that work for them, and trying to find a crack and a flaw why it won't work for them, just like I did. And so, I can relate to that. But once you decide that you're ready to take action, then take the action. Commit to doing it. Follow through with the advice that people are giving you. Because that's the real bottom line thing is you're wanting results, right? You're not really out there doing research to find ways to procrastinate, but you've gotten into the habit of doing it and probably didn't realize it. So this is an awareness session, a little therapy for you here, because taking action, it can be small, it can be incremental. You don't have to overhaul things overnight, although when it comes to health and fitness, sometimes many of us, we want to be able to undo all the unhealthy habits and have results right away, right? But it's just picking a few things of advice and then building upon that. Because all you want to do, what is the very next thing you need to change to get to that first base camp toward your goal? That's all you need, okay? A lot of us, try to do everything all at once. And while that can work, many times people find that it's short-lived, and they're back to their old habits again. And in the beginning, just like James Clear from Atomic Habits says, in the beginning, it's more important to develop the habits than it is to see the results. So if you can shove the results away and say, you know what, the results I'm going to have, and I'm confident that they will, but in order to have those results, I need these habits to be solidified. And that's the questions that you're asking for people. What are the habits? What's your secret? Because somebody would say, well, I just hit the gym each day. Well, there's a process around that. What are the habits to have you showing up at the gym each day? And so those are the questions that you could be asking. Over time, those small steps, they lead to big changes. And they make it really, really easy to, it gives you something to work toward. It makes it easier for you to track your progress. And especially if you can have somebody like, I have an online fitness group where we just check in, and everybody's at a different level. But all we want to do is just build the habits and get to the next base camp, and we support each other and motivate each other. And if you want more focus on this, hop over on a free call with me, talktoperry.com, because so many of us, we go about our lives like we are a 6-year-old smartphone, 2% battery life, no charger in sight. And oh my gosh, if one more thing comes along, it's going to be too overwhelming, right? And I want to help you. I want to hear your goals. I want to hear what things you're working through, what's become a struggle for you, what's become an energy drain for you. And I will tell you within 15 minutes of us talking together, 15 minutes, it's a big promise, right? Which direction will be the best for you, where you're going to get the biggest results from. And then you can become aware that you're not there just for validation, but you're going to take action on it. I will give you my Power 5 strategies so that you can reach all of your goals. I mean, tell me what your goals are. I'll tell you how to reach them. And seriously, how would your life look different if your battery was running at 100% every single day? TalkToPerry.com is where that's at. If I were to give it a little bit of advice based on what we just talked about today, stop seeking validation and start taking action, okay? The advice that you get, it's only as good as what you're going to do with it. And if you're asking advice, trying to sift through to say, I'm just asking questions to find the flaws and cracks of why it won't work for me, you'll probably find that pretty often. But if you really want results, if you really desire change, take the advice, even if it's just 1 or 2 nuggets from it, make a plan, stick to it, and develop the habits around that. And then you'll start to see the results. The results will come, but you got to build those habits first. And, you have to choose to step into that. If you're just kind of letting it store upstairs in your head and trying to overthink things, that's where it's going to stay. The results aren't going to happen. But should you take action on that, your future self is going to thank you. As a matter of fact, you don't have to keep your future self out there in the future. You can look at who your future self is and start taking those actions right now, and you'll step into your future self even faster. So just know that you can choose to use your power and take control, or you can let the excuses, rationalization, overthinking, asking people for advice and not taking action, you can let that control you and drain your power. It really boils down to deciding and committing to yourself and your goals. And then choosing to figure out new ways, looking at possibilities, learning or growing, and keep moving forward with the action that you are taking. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. You can drop those down in the comments. I promise I will reply. You absolutely rock. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear. What's going on? I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find the show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.